And our final presenter for the day is Jeanne Caudill, who's a first grade teacher at Mullins School in Pike County. And the title of her project is All Hands on Tech, Reaching Struggling Readers with Office 365.
Okay, I want to give you a little history. First of all, this is my 17th year of teaching first grade. And so I know and I understand a lot of the challenges that everyone faces whenever they're teaching reading. One of them is fluency. So last year, little history, I got a grant and I got a Microsoft Surface. And what I did was they have a new program. It wasn't on Office 365 last year, so to me, that kind of handicapped it a little bit. It was on OneNote, and I don't know how many of you have used OneNote, but I think a lot of people are scared of it. I like it. But anyway, what I did was I worked with Microsoft and with their research group, and I simply, when you would read a passage into the microphone on OneNote with these learning tools that are on there, it would take it and you could have it read back to the student. It was really developed for students with dyslexia, so you can push a button and it puts overlays, like if they need a yellow overlay or a blue overlay or whatever they need. It also has black with white letters. Oh my goodness, it just does everything, but it's just really simple to use, and it's free. It has a way you just push a button and the big words are divided into syllables. So the child doesn't have to try to figure out what syllables that they have to decode the words with. They can do it that way. It has a reading ability. Once you type in a passage or words, that you just go and you push a button and you can say how fast it's read back to them, whether it's a male or a female voice. But the child can listen over and over while they're learning to read. And I heard some listening center things going on, and I know how important that is. It also, which I love this, if you're teaching them about nouns or verbs, you can push a button and it will highlight just the nouns or verbs in those passages. Very, very, very simple to use, very quick. So what I did last year was I got to thinking about the children who struggle with sight words. And I had a little boy who came in, and the very first day of school, his mom says, if you want to hold him back this year, that's okay with me. And I was just flabbergasted because I'm like, you're committing him to failure on the first day of school. So I put him and 3 others who were not receiving services for special ed but who needed extra help onto this program, but all they were doing was learning their sight words. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm giving them 50 sight words. It's like, if we have 6 this week, this is what you're going to learn. By Friday, they all knew it, and they knew it very well. That little boy went from, I tracked 4 kids, he went from knowing 3% of his sight words from kindergarten, which are supposed to be 50 words. He knew 3% of those. He went from that to by March, this past March, he knew 100% of all the kindergarten and all the first. And I mean, this program is amazing. Microsoft has considered that what I've done is like groundbreaking and all this because no one had ever used it before just to teach the children sight words. So they have actually taken my ARI research and they did an education blog about it this summer, and so other people would know. Now, that is so very successful. I wanted to use it again this year, but I'm going to do another layer of it because this summer, and I couldn't even write about it in my grant because they told me top secret, top secret. They showed it to me, but I couldn't talk about it. They have added a whole bunch of new features, and one of them, have you all seen the reading rulers that you put it over the passages and you just see the one line? Because there are some kids that if they see all of that, it just, it basically just makes them not want to read any of it because there's just too much. There's a reading ruler on there now. And so you put your passages on the reading ruler, you just click one little button, there it goes. It will read it to the student and the reading ruler will move down as it does. You can space the words out because some kids can't take the visual overcrowding. So this year, in addition to what I did last year, because I have a new group of students, I'm going to use this for learning to read passages or paragraphs. And then I will test that with the passage reading fluency with EasyCBM. and also use the MAP scores to see how they improved. And last year they improved like dramatically. It was amazing. So the really good thing about it this year, it's not just on OneNote app. This year, if you go to Office 365, which we all have that, and you go on Office 365, if you do Word or you do OneNote, and I think everyone's probably a whole lot more comfortable with Word, you can type these things into Word, and then you go up to View, and then it has Immersive Reader. Click on that, and it'll take you to everything. It's super duper simple. You can just even go on and Google Immersive Reader, and there will be videos that will pop up from Microsoft to explain how to do it. But I got to tell you, you guys are all really innovative people, and I can tell you that if you just go to Office, type it in, go up to the top toolbar, and go to View, and you'll find Immersive Reader on there. Try it out. It's really easy to use. What I liked about using it before and what I like about using it now, number one, it's fast. Like if I'm using it for sight words, in less than a minute, I have those words typed on there. So, and number two, it doesn't take my time, because what I'm doing is, while I'm doing things with an individual student, that's what I have to do with my students who need Tier 2 interventions, I can put, say, the other 5 on a computer and let them be interacting with that. And I'll just tell you one more story before I finish. And I just want to get out and preach this to the world because it's just so good. But I had a little girl last year who came to me who could not spell her name. This is first grade. Could not count to 10. And I was just like, what am I going to do with this? So the first thing I did was I made sure she could spell her name. It was all in capital letters, that's fine. And she is receiving services. So she was not part of my study because I was just doing the Tier 2 ones. Well, in addition to those 4, I let her do it. Do you know that the child who didn't know her alphabet, couldn't spell her name, by the end of the year knew 75 of those 125 sight words? And she knows them faster than some of my top students. And so it's just a totally amazing program. And I'll say this, I'm not saying this to brag, but I'm just saying this is how great this program is. I went to Toronto, Canada in March. I'm in a Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert program, and I got to go to Toronto, and there were 12 teachers in the United States got to go. And we had to present our project up there, and that was my project. And the Canadian school children came around, and out of like 250 projects, mine was the winner. So, and you know, I just credit it a lot to ARI. I would never have done this had it not been for my ARI project last year. And I'm really happy that I can expand this year.